4 biblical secrets of the Sabbath that your church did not teach you. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about the Sabbath, yes, everything, might be missing some of the most profound, life-changing truths? What if I told you there are secrets buried deep in the Bible about the Sabbath that your church probably never shared with you? Let me be honest. I grew up in church, and for years, I just went along with the typical routine of Sunday mornings. Rest on the Sabbath, don't work, be good. And that's about it, right? I mean, how much more is there to it? But here's the thing. The Sabbath is way more than just a day off. It's not just about obeying rules, ticking boxes, or feeling guilty for doing too much work on a Sunday. No. The Sabbath, when you truly understand it, is a gift. It's a chance to experience freedom, rest, and God's love in ways you've probably never imagined. What if just for a moment, we could peel back all the layers of tradition and dive into what the Bible really says? There are 4 powerful secrets of the Sabbath that, once you uncover them, can completely change the way you view rest, work, and even your relationship with God. I'm not talking about some abstract theology here. I'm talking about life-changing truths that can help you experience peace, joy, and a deeper trust in God. So, stick with me. If you're ready to go beyond the surface-level teachings and dig into some truths that might just blow your mind and transform the way you live, then you're in the right place. Let's talk about the 4 biblical secrets of the Sabbath that your church probably didn't teach you, but that can make all the difference. Part 1. The Sabbath as a symbol of freedom. All right, let's jump right in. The first secret of the Sabbath that your church probably never taught you is this. The Sabbath is about freedom, not just rest. Now stick with me here. When you think of the Sabbath, what comes to mind? Probably something like, it's a day I'm supposed to rest and not work. But if you've only ever seen the Sabbath as a rule, something to check off, then you're missing the heart of what God intended for it. Let me take you back to when God first gave the command to the Israelites in Exodus 20. You've probably heard these words 1,000 times before. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. It's part of the 10 Commandments, right? But have you ever wondered why God made such a big deal about it? Here's the thing that changed everything for me. The Sabbath wasn't just about rest. It was about freedom. You see, the Israelites were coming out of Egypt, where they had been slaves for hundreds of years. They were constantly working, building cities, making bricks, never getting a break. They had no freedom, no time to rest. And then God says, hey, I'm setting you free. I'm not just freeing you from Egypt, I'm giving you something even bigger, rest. The Sabbath was their way of showing that they were no longer slaves, that they were free to rest, to stop working, and to trust that God would take care of them. And honestly, when I started to think of the Sabbath that way, it hit me. The Sabbath isn't just about a day of rest. It's a symbol that you are free, not bound by work, not chained to a never-ending cycle of busyness. It's about saying, I trust God, and I'm free to stop. Takeaway. The Sabbath is a weekly reminder that we are not defined by our work, and we are free from the constant pressure of life. Part 2. The Sabbath as a reflection of God's love. Now I'm going to let you in on another secret. The Sabbath is not just about freedom, it's also a gift. A beautiful, life-giving gift that God gave to us, not as a burden, but as an act of love. You've probably heard the phrase, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. It comes from Jesus in Mark 2:27, and it completely blew my mind the first time I really stopped to think about it. Think about this for a second. The Sabbath wasn't made to be some impossible rule we have to follow. No, it's a gift from God to us. Think about it like this. When someone gives you a gift, what's your first reaction? You're probably excited, thankful, right? You don't see it as a burden. You see it as something that adds joy to your life. The same is true for the Sabbath. God didn't create this day to make life harder. He created it to bless us. The Sabbath is about resting in God's love. It's about taking a break from our hectic lives and realizing that we don't have to earn God's love. It's already there, freely given. God isn't waiting for us to work harder to earn His approval. On the Sabbath, we get to stop working and simply rest in that love. And that's the point. It's a moment every week to experience God's unconditional love and grace. The way I see it now is that the Sabbath is like a weekly reminder that I am loved, not because of what I do, but because of who I am in God's eyes. Takeaway: instead of viewing the Sabbath as another rule, see it as a gift, a precious time to bask in God's love and stop striving. Part 3. The Sabbath as a foretaste of eternal rest. All right, this one might blow your mind. The Sabbath is not just about freedom and love, it's actually a foretaste of something far greater, the eternal rest we'll experience with God someday. Now, I know that might sound a little out there at first, but stay with me. In Hebrews 4:9-10, the Bible tells us that there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. And here's the kicker. The Sabbath we observe on earth is not just about taking a break for a day. It's a reminder of something much bigger, the ultimate rest we'll find in God's presence for all eternity. Think about it like this. Every time we take a Sabbath, we are practicing for eternity. We are getting a tiny taste of the rest that is promised to us when we're finally with God, free from the struggles and burdens of this world. It's like God gave us a preview of what heaven will be like. That's why when you're on the Sabbath, it's not just about putting your feet up or binge-watching Netflix, though that can be fun too. It's about aligning your heart with the eternal rest that awaits. In the hustle and bustle of life, the Sabbath is God's way of saying, take a break. Look ahead. Rest now, because there's a bigger rest to come. It's a way to remind us that we were made for more than just work. We were made for a deep, eternal peace with God. Takeaway: the Sabbath is a practice run for eternity. It's a moment every week where we get to experience a glimpse of the rest that awaits us in heaven. Part 4. The Sabbath as a statement of trust. And now the final secret. The Sabbath is not just a time for freedom, love, and a glimpse of eternity. It's actually a statement of trust in God's provision. You know, one of the hardest things about observing the Sabbath is the idea of stopping our work, our productivity, our constant hustle. It feels like if we take a break, things will fall apart. We'll miss out. We'll be behind. It's the fear that if we don't keep grinding, we won't have enough. But here's the thing. The Sabbath is all about trust. Trusting that God will provide everything we need, even when we take a break. In Exodus 16, when God gave the Israelites manna from heaven, He told them to gather enough for 6 days, but on the seventh day, the Sabbath, they weren't to gather at all. Why? Because He wanted them to trust that He would provide for them. They didn't have to work for their provision. They just had to trust that God had it covered. I've come to realize that every time I take a Sabbath, I'm declaring, I trust God. I trust that He will provide for me, even when I'm not working 24/7. I trust that my worth isn't tied to my productivity. It's a radical act of faith, one that goes against the grain of today's hustle culture. Trusting God with our rest is one of the most freeing things we can do. When we stop working and trust God, we're saying, I believe you've got this. I don't need to prove myself to anyone. You are my provider. Takeaway: the Sabbath is a bold statement of trust. It's saying, I trust God to provide everything I need, even when I stop working. Conclusion: reclaiming the true meaning of the Sabbath. So there you have it. 4 biblical secrets of the Sabbath that, quite frankly, your church probably never taught you. The Sabbath is more than just a day off. It's a day of freedom, a gift of love, a glimpse of our eternal rest in God, and yes, a bold statement of trust in God's provision. When you begin to see the Sabbath through these lenses, it completely transforms the way you experience it. It's not just about rules or obligations. It's about deep, soul-refreshing rest. It's about reclaiming that precious time to connect with God, experience His love, and rest from the pressures of the world. It's about declaring, I trust you, God. You've got this. I'm not defined by my work, but by who I am in you. But here's the most important part. This isn't just some ancient practice we look back on. It's a rhythm that's meant to shape our lives today. In a world that constantly demands more from us, the Sabbath is God's invitation to stop, to rest, to breathe, and to trust. To remember that we were made for more than just hustle. We were made to be in relationship with Him. So, let me challenge you. How would your life change if you started to observe the Sabbath in a whole new way? What if this weekend, you stopped seeing it as just a day off and began to experience it as a powerful reminder of your freedom, your worth in God's eyes, and your ultimate hope for eternal rest? What if you truly trusted that God would provide for you, even when you take a break from the grind? I want to challenge you this week. Take a Sabbath like you've never taken one before. Don't just rest your body, rest your soul. Take time to reconnect with God. Experience the freedom He's offering you, feel the depth of His love, and embrace the trust He's calling you to. If you do that, if you fully embrace the true purpose of the Sabbath, you'll begin to see your life change in ways you never expected. It's not just a command, it's a blessing from God, and it's there for you to experience. Thank you for watching. And if this video has touched you, if these truths have opened your eyes like they did for me, I'd love for you to share this with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe you know someone who's running on empty, who's caught up in the hustle, and doesn't know what it's like to truly rest. Share this video with them and let them discover the true meaning of the Sabbath. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next video where we dive deeper into the transformative power of God's Word. Until then, remember, rest is more than a day. It's a way of life. And you are free to experience it.